Welcome back everyone, and let's get stuck in. So, BlizzCon Online has happened, and we got, well, a smaller than expected stack of news for you, to be real. Though the actual monetization of classic TBC has certainly gone down interestingly. But let's go. Patch 9.1, Chains of Domination, as per the leaks, is our next patch. Now, Blizzard covered 0 systems details. Legit 0. To the point where we don't even know what we're going to be doing in the new world content. Now, it's worth saying that that was prefaced by Ian, where he basically just said it's too early to talk about those systems, and he insinuated that they're being highly reactive to the testing that's going on, and they really want to hit the PTR, to actually go through all that stuff. So, that's interesting. Now, what we do know is that the Maw is essentially being revamped. Yes. They mentioned that the Eye of the Jailer will be removed. I think the Eye of the Jailer was something we literally kill in the new raid, so that is quite neat, but they again gave no real specifics there. They also did, in an external interview, confirm that all mounts will work in the Maw. Phew. So, essentially, the same old Maw, as in the zone, but no Eye of the Jailer, and I would expect a content revamp. Essentially, they're changing it. They've realized V1 did not work. Then, in addition to this, the titular chains have been used by the Jailer to pull in fragments from other bits of the Shadowlands, including Korthia, our new zone. Now, well, it's a new subzone. It's going to have quests and outdoor activities, none of which we're currently aware of yet. Like I said, this is extremely early, but I guess fair play to Blizzard, like the things they showed, like the new creature art, the armored hand mount, the accompanying pets, and the new horse, they all do look pretty neat, and we believe that is, well, we know that is Maw content. Again though, we have 0 information on how you'll get them, and really how any of that will work. Speaking of cosmetic rewards though, well, we actually do know how the ones on our Patreon work, where if you go there in that link in the description, you can get, well, if you're in February, you'll get this shield pin, which is really awesome, as well as a big old stack of lovely art and the sticker for your walls, your notebook, wherever you want to put it, really. It supports us a hell of a lot. It really is, it's just cool stuff making that. So, yeah. Okay, let's get into it. Tazavesh. This is our new mythic-only mega dungeon. So, like with, Operation Mechagon, it'll work like that. Now, basically, a broker is doing a major heist of an artifact from Azeroth. We're going to get mixed up in that somehow. From this, expect to get decent gear in terms of the player power. These very neat-looking transmogs, the bits of gear actually do look very cool indeed. Also, mount and pet rewards, and then also do expect for this to be split into 2 wings and then added into the Mythic Plus system for patch 9.2, because that's what they do to mega dungeons generally. Now, content-wise, we have really not seen much from this new mega dungeon, but there is an infinite dragon who is also a pirate, so that's kind of interesting. I wonder how it got there. And there's also a heist section, so it does seem like a pretty damn neat bit of content. Then, of course, there's the new raid, the Sanctum of Domination. It is a 10-boss raid set in Torghast. 5 bosses have been revealed. We've got the Targru, we've got the Eye of the Jailer, we've got Fate of the Damned, we've got Kel'Thuzad, yep, and we've also got Sylvanas as our end boss. Interestingly, no Anduin. Of course, Anduin has been, successfully dominated using the various, bits of domination gear, sounds a bit iffy, that the Jailer had, that we saw in that past cinematic. He, of course, kills the Archon, and will we see him in the raid? Who the hell knows? Maybe he'll be involved in the Sylvanas fight. After all, she is the final boss of this raid, and Blizzard did tease the conclusion of this raid as being one that is super important. So I would imagine very big cinematic, very intense lore, maybe some Tyrande, and we'll get into the lore in a bit. So, there's that. For Covenants then, the death of the Archon leads to the Covenants unifying into a single campaign. Now, the Covenants will still be the individual Covenants that you sign up for, but the campaign is going to be shared between them. Now, we're also going to get more conduits and more soulbind progression there, as well as 4 new cosmetic sets, which of course, because they're cosmetic sets, can be worn by any armor type and can be mixed and matched. And also, Covenant flying mounts, one for each Covenant. Tell you, I'm pretty happy with my lot as a Night Fae, and I think the rest are real nice too. Just maybe those cosmetic sets don't look great in a human male. Now, the mounts also do look quite great, and speaking of those mounts, they're flying mounts. And yes, flying in a 0.1 patch is a bit earlier than usual, but I think not in terms of the calendar, like actual months, because I have a feeling this patch will be a little bit further away than we actually think right now, based on how sparse the details were from Blizzard. Now, the flight unlock is going to be through the Covenant campaign progress that you make. That's going to mean very easy to get, no grinding needed, and I think that's pretty good. Then Torghast was mentioned, but barely. Like they said, there'd be new wings that have new art as well as new powers, but that was it. To be honest with you though, I think the only way to save that feature is to totally revamp the reward systems and all of that stuff around it, so hopefully they do that. Next then, Season 2 of Shadowlands. We're going to have all the usual. Increased item levels, new M+ affix. What's new is that there will be a refresh of honor talents, which means, I guess, cool new buttons to press in PvP, and that's kind of exciting. There's also going to be 2 seasonal reward mounts, plus the regular duo of vicious PvP mounts, which this time are Gorns. So that's what's going on there. And that's actually what's going on for World of Warcraft. That's the situation. Covenant campaign, Covenant rewards, Corythia, or rather, the new Maw stuff, and the Mega Dungeon. So that really is the sort of core of it. Classic TBC. I'm going to start with a dramatic. Well, okay, there is one good thing. Pre-patch for that is going to enable Draenei and Blood Elf character creation and leveling. Is that different from TBC? Yes, but I actually do think it's quite a good thing. But there is something else. Boosts. Paid boosts. Yep, they're in Classic now. That certainly does break no changes. So they're coming, but they do have limitations. They are not going to work on Blood Elves or Draenei. You have to level those yourself. And you can only boost once per account. So maybe they'll let you boost like every time there's a new WoW Classic product. So that, certainly the limitations placed on the boost will help to limit some of the, maybe blunt some of the potential drama there. I can see why they've done it money-wise, obviously, but it's going to be rough for segments of the Classic community because they're really going to want to see that, a level 60 character is a level 60 character that was leveled. That's, important to elements of Classic, and that is going to be gone once the boost is an option. And the boost gets you to level 58, by the way. But it's not as rough as the next thing, though. Paid character copies. Yeah, copy-paste your character, and it's going to cost you money. Now, for context here, existing Classic servers are going to be called progression servers, and they will advance to the Burning Crusade. You will then get the option of if you want to continue your character over to TBC, or if you want to move it to a Classic vanilla only server that will stay in vanilla forever. Or you could do both. You could keep your character on the TBC progression server and send a copy of your character to the Classic vanilla only server. But that's going to cost you money. That sucks. I think that should be free, and that leaves a really bad taste in the mouth. I would have assumed that the way they were going to do it is you could advance your character and then you sort of just get to keep it in Classic as well. I'm kind of surprised that's a paid option, to be honest with you, and this obviously did not go down well on stream. Yeah, look, this monetization stuff did not happen for Classic initially, but we understand that Classic greatly outperformed Blizzard's expectations. Now then, that they know success exists here, they're of course going to increase the monetization where they can, so it's not really a surprise. Now, boosted characters should note they probably won't mess up the economy or anything like that, because they're going to be boosted, but with a bare minimum to get by. What else then? Well, there'll be 5 phases. So Phase 1 is Karazhan, Gruul, and Magtheridon plus PvP Season 1. Phase 2 then adds in Serpent Shrine, Cavern, and Tempest Keep, while Phase 3 adds in Arena Season 2, Hyjal, and Black Temple, with Phase 4 being Zoloman, Arena Season 3, and then the final phase just being the Isle of Keldanas content patch. All seems pretty reasonable, and there's actually some more good news, I think. The bosses are going to be pre-nerf. unlike how they were in Vanilla Classic. And I think that's good because players are a fair bit more effective these days, as we saw by them creaming the content of Vanilla Classic. Oh, and also they mentioned that the Paladin seals are actually, the faction-specific ones will be unlocked. Like, you'll get the opposite factions one once you hit max level, so as to not create imbalances. So that's an example of a change they're making they think is for the good of the game. Now, as for release dates, Classic TBC 2021, at any point, I guess, and then patch 9.1 has got no date. Now, I will say this, that they felt they needed to push the Valor Points changes into patch 9.0.5, that does tell me that it's going to be a little while yet for that patch. And that essentially is the World of Warcraft news from BlizzCon, well, BlizzCon line. Who knows if there'll be a BlizzCon 2021 in November. Overall, I'll say this, I think the new lore has got potential. It does have, well, it suffers, right, from the Shadowlands storytelling being fragmented, so a lot of people are confused and bouncing off it. And I'm happy that the WoW team seems a bit more responsive to systems changes. As for the rest of BlizzCon then, there's Diablo. There'll be a proper recap of the other stuff on our general gaming news channel. This is the Warcraft channel, so this is where the Warcraft content goes. I'll say on Diablo, look, Diablo 4 probably going to be pretty great, pretty fun. Diablo 2 Resurrected, that is being done by Vicarious Visions, not by, it's not the same situation that happened to Warcraft 3 Reforged. Vicarious Visions' previous projects were the Crash Trilogy and the Tony Hawk Pro Skater Remaster. Probably pretty awesome. Overwatch 2, I've heard pretty decent things, so we'll see what's going on there, but again, neither that or D4 are going to be in 2021. And for Hearthstone, I'll say this, I generally don't care about Hearthstone past the single-player content, and the new single-player thing, Hearthstone Mercenaries, is basically you pick a hero and it takes you through a roguelite, and honestly, I'd say that should be pretty damn neat based on the past Hearthstone single-player content, which generally has been pretty damn awesome. There you go, that's BlizzCon line for Warcraft, and I'll try to keep this video just a bit more brief so that you can get in, get out, get all the info that you need. There will be more though, we're going deep into the lore analysis and things like that, and who knows what we'll learn from the Q&A, and also the interview that I am doing with Steve Denuser and with Morgan Day, so expect some game systems content and some lore content as time goes on. Of course, check out our other channel for more general stuff about BlizzCon, including, just some opinions and thoughts on how they've actually put BlizzCon line together and some of the community disappointment. And there will be a nice chunky lore video on this channel today. Thank you very much for watching. And with that said, I will see you next time.